you ever heard yourself say this about your spouse or somebody you love, an in-law, your parents, sister or brother? I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to disappoint them. This is something I hear a lot from my clients. I coach Mormons in mixed faith marriage, and I know I've said it myself. And it's a beautiful sentiment, but it's one I would really look at closely, and here's why. We don't want other people to be hurt or disappointed because we love them, okay? Like, that's why we love these people. But let's look at it a little bit more closely. When we tell ourselves, I don't want to hurt them, I don't want to disappoint them, a lot of the times this is in the context of like a faith transition and a mixed faith marriage. Like, I don't want them to be hurt because of my faith transition. I don't want them to be disappointed because of my choices. I'm not going to church or drinking coffee or any of those things. And a lot of times what we do from that place is we hurt ourselves and we disappoint ourselves instead. And maybe that means, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to disappoint them. So we don't tell them the truth about ourselves. And that can hurt ourselves. Now we're not being honest. We tell ourselves, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to disappoint them. So we go to church even though we find that to be not a healthy place for us. We're choosing to hurt ourselves. Now, this can often open the door to resentment building up in the relationship. It may over time sound like, I do all of this for them, why can't they do this for me? It builds up over time to create significantly large piles of resentment. Another thing this does, which is so interesting, is when we tell them, we're telling ourselves, I don't want to hurt them, I don't want to disappoint them. What that means is that we want to convince them to think and feel very differently about us and our choices. We don't agree with the conclusions they've come to, and we want to convince them to come to a different conclusions. We think they're wrong in whatever conclusion they've come to. It's interesting to look at it that way, because when we start to convince and try to get people to be different than they are, that can come across as not very loving. So those are two really common things that happen when we tell ourselves, I don't want them to be hurt, I don't want them to be disappointed. And those can be painful places to find ourselves in. So I want to suggest something else that's a more long-term sustainable solution here. What if, and this might sound a little crazy, what if we could learn to totally accept other people and the emotions they're feeling, even if that means they're feeling hurt and disappointment? What if we could accept that that's what they're choosing to feel, even though that's what they're choosing to feel about us and our decisions? Can we accept that? Can we accept that they get to choose how they want to feel about us and our decisions? And sometimes we may not agree with it, but can we accept that? So if you're telling yourself, I don't want to hurt them, I don't want to disappoint them, I don't want to betray them, any of those things, see what that's creating for you. And what I mean by that, is it meaning you're going to hurt yourself instead? And is that going to open the door to resentment building up? Does that mean then you need to convince them to think differently? And maybe another option here is accepting them exactly as they are, whether you agree with it or not. All right, if you need more help with your mixed faith marriage, go to my website, brookeboothcoaching.com. I have some more free resources for you there. Please use them. Please do the work you need to make your mixed faith marriage wonderful.